Forget the engine we just built. This is it right here.
Woo! There we are. See,
So we're gonna put like 30-ish PSI into it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did we tell everybody what's in there? Push these out.
That is right, everybody. We have had the crazy idea of putting an air-cooled Porsche engine in our Subaru. Forget the engine we just built. This is it right here. $40,000 worth of 964 3.8 liter twin spark goodness. This engine is a monster. It'll produce, I think, like over 300 horsepower. I don't actually know how much it'll make because, well, we just did it for the clickbait, but in all seriousness, this is our buddy Dan's engine going into his 964. It was delivered here because he's gonna come pick it up here. So we thought, you know what a funny thing to do. Can you imagine an air-cooled engine that screams to like 8,500 RPM in a Subaru? Maybe we'll try that in the future if we win the lottery and have nothing better to do.
We bought this cheap Subaru STI thinking, hey, you know what, we can just throw another motor in there and we'll have a V8 STI chassis for a low sum of money, but instead we went down the rabbit hole of doing a complete engine rebuild. The point of this episode is to get this engine in the engine bay, to prime it with oil, and to do the all-important first startup, and then we're gonna go show you on the street how to break a brand new engine in. So stay tuned, guys, buckle up. We got a lot of work to do here, and it's been a month since we pulled this motor out, so I don't know if we're even gonna remember how to put it back in. Step one to installing this engine is, of course, to get it off the engine stand and onto the shop crane here so that we can install a flywheel and clutch. And by the way, this is the maiden voyage for this brand new maximum 2-ton shop crane. We especially like the fact that the arms down here are very low profile.
That was my biggest problem with the old one, DP.
Yeah, the old one I think would have sat at least 2 or 3, maybe even more inches higher than these lower arms sit, so it'll slide underneath the lowered car really nicely. And just like that, we're in the air. Nice. And there we have it, everybody. Our spec stage 1 clutch kit is installed. And as you saw, it does have an organic full-faced clutch with both Kevlar and carbon in that material. And this thing is able to hold up to 402 foot-pounds of torque, so more than enough coverage for power for us, and it's gonna be a nice streetable setup with that full-faced sprung clutch disc in there. So you also notice we bolted up a aluminum lightweight flywheel, which will give you that nice snappy throttle response. And the old school spec guys will know that this is not their typical color, is it, PT? Used to be like a darker, more like a royal blue and a flat color. Now they've gone with like this lighter blue with like metal flake in it.
I love it.
It's kind of got those drift car vibes to it. And you'll also notice we did line up the paint mark up here, the yellow paint mark that they include, which means that the pressure plate, clutch, and flywheel have all been balanced as an assembly, and this ensures you put it back in the correct balanced position.
Oh, so much smoother than before.
Right.
Give it to Subaru. This is pretty easy, DP.
This isn't terrible.
Stop there. So as easily as the engine went into the bay, the trouble here is actually mating up the transmission to the clutch and flywheel. Nam over at NV Auto just gave us a few tips to get this done properly. This is a pull type clutch, so he has now suggested we zip tie the clutch fork here so it's pushed away, and I think we'll pop that in afterwards. And the next thing we need to do is loosening the turbo up a bit because it does hit on the bell housing, so you kind of want it to float a little bit. That is the third one, and now the turbo should have, you can see a little bit of play, and just that play should be enough to help us here.
Yep, that's it.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that turbo trick worked good.
Yeah, it did work. There we go.
All right. We did just struggle a little bit with actually getting the engine onto the transmission's input shaft, but once we got that on, now I use the bolts here to kind of suck it in, and you can see it is closing the gap now. We basically at this point have our engine mated to our transmission, and Nam gave me a really good pro tip on how to know whether everything is mated. So these cars can be tricky to get the input shaft on, so what you want to do is put it into 5th gear here, as you can see, like that. Then turn the crank, and you will see the wheels are actually starting to rotate. So that means we now have the input shaft properly mated with our clutch. As I lower this engine, it'll go into the engine mounts, as it should. Yes, and yes. That is success. So oh, no, we're not. We're actually too far back, DP.
Too far back?
So let's see what happens here.
You just improved the balance of this car.
Oh my. I need a fry.
Woo!
There we are. See, just a little bit of persuasion and we are in. So we just popped the throwout bearing into place, and now you can see this is the pivot fork here. And we want to make sure that the clutch is working before we go bolting everything on, because Nam mentioned that is a bit of a problem. So we're just going to install the master cylinder now, and then
The slave, isn't it?
Oh, it's the slave. Yes, it's the slave. It should be called the master. This is the most important one, isn't it?
all just feels a little racist.
Well,
no matter what you call it.
But I got to get this guy in here, and then we can go push the clutch pedal. And if we've got a clutch, then we are good. Okay, that feels good. DP, can you see, is it moving properly?
Yep. Looks like it's moving nice.
It's moving nice.
All right,
Yep.
there we are. So basically, we've now just shown you kind of a few precautions that you want to look at before you now start bolting everything on.
You'd think since we dismantled this Subaru a few weeks prior, we'd know where everything goes, but you'd be very wrong. I mucked up the coolant hoses and had to reinstall them not twice, but 3 times, while Dave struggled figuring out the jigsaw puzzle of brackets for AC and air pump. We did eventually get it all sorted, but what should take an hour took us the better part of the morning.
Just buttoning everything up here, about to put the rad in, and we noticed the lower rad supports are extremely rusty because even though this car is only 9 years old, it's lived its whole life here in Ontario. So we're going to spray all the rust with some fluid film black, which will not only prevent it from corroding more, but we'll also turn it black instead of that rusty color. So it'll look better and give us the peace of mind that we're protecting this car as much as we can for us and future enjoyers of it. Now's the time to put the rad in, and of course we're going to take the opportunity to upgrade to a Koyo rad. This is the Hyper V core, 36 mil thick, which is 20 mil thicker than stock. And this core is specifically designed for efficiency in cars that produce a lot of heat, like a turbo car. So it's going to really improve the cooling efficiency in our STI here. And of course, being a direct fit, it's just going to drop down onto the rubber grommets down below here. Should clear everything nicely, as long as I'm...
No, look at the stock fans. Look how well everything fits up.
just bolts
That's
up.
always our take on Koyo, man. You can't beat the OEM finish of them.
When they say direct fit, they really mean it.
So it is now time to fill the cooling system here. And if you guys are new, this is our Airlift coolant filling system, and it is actually pretty brilliant. So what it is gonna do is it's gonna draw all of the air out of the cooling system, and then we can fill it with coolant so you don't get air pockets. And the way that is done is you can see I have air going to it right now. So now I've got pressurized air going through it. I open this up, and you can see, watch the hoses. The hoses will collapse as this whole system gets drawn of air. There it goes, look at that. So that is full there, and oh, you can hear. So this is a great way to know now we have a leak somewhere, because this is dropping quickly. And I can hear Oh, it's the rad hose here. These lines here that are going to the hose. So sometimes you have to plug these hoses here, otherwise it does create a bit of a leak. So we're gonna fix that. You'll see this will hold. And then we crack this here, and there goes the coolant, and it starts to fill from down here. Oh, and you gotta make sure that you keep the spout here under your coolant.
Well, Doug from Envy is here, which can only mean one thing. It's time to fire this puppy up.
All right.
So he brought your special device here to pressurize the oil system?
Yeah, I know you guys already have one, but this one's equipped with all the fittings to do Subaru stuff.
Right.
Figuring things.
And hand fabricated in-house.
Yeah, Vin made this in-house. This is version 2.0.
Nice.
So,
out goes the oil pressure switch, and in goes this little fitting that we will connect to Dove's magical oil pressuring device. All right, that is tightened down. And that means it's time to pressurize your tank?
yeah, so we're gonna put like 30-ish PSI into it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did we tell everybody what's in there?
Sorry.
Sludge?
Yeah, it's water. So we're gonna,
So this is a conventional Valvoline motor oil. You want to use a conventional oil for break-in, not a full synthetic?
exactly. So what we're gonna do is the first load of oil going into it is gonna be conventional oil. We'll run it up to temperature,
Right.
dump it, and then put some Valvoline high zinc
Okay,
for the rest of the break-in period.
okay. So here we go. You got to pressurize it, and then we open the magic valve, I
Yeah.
guess. Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Quick squirt. So here we
So
go.
you can see the oil. My bad. Like now what's happening is all the oil is transferring from this tank, going through all the oil galleys. It's going through the turbo, through the camshafts, mains, rods, everything as if it's running, as if
Right.
it's got 40 PSI of oil pressure.
Right. So we're going to turn her back up there. Yeah, no, that's a great way to explain it, actually. Imagine if the motor is running with 30 PSI in it,
That's
we're moving the oil at the same rate.
Literally what we're doing right now.
Yeah. While we let the oil fill here, we're going to put in a battery because we're that close to starting it up. And for that, we're using a Pro Series XD. This is a heavy duty battery. It's going to turn this motor over like it's, I don't know what's hit it. I'm also getting a nice shoulder workout. It's in there. We're good to go. I guess we'll bolt it down, won't we? It's just a matter of cranking it over at this point.
Yeah, I've primed the fuel pump a few times, make sure there's no fuel leaks. I don't see any fuel spraying anywhere.
And as long as we don't have any other leaks, how long are we going to run the motor for?
About till the fans come on.
So you want to get a heat cycle in it,
Yeah,
basically.
get it fairly hot and go right to like between 2,000 and 3,000 RPM.
Okay.
Just kind of varying it, not letting it idle. You're just like,
This is to help promote ring seal?
yes.
Gotcha. Okay, well, he knows what he's doing. He's built a few hundred of these motors, so let's hope this is a good one. Turn it over, Dovey! To see if we have any oil leaks, so let's see what we find. It's good so far.
Sounds good from the inside.
It sounds good from the outside, and no leaks. We've got steam rising. We got some oils burning off the headers, but no leaks of any sort. So
Sweet.
I think we got ourselves a winner here, guys.
Yeah.
That's it. She's broken in.
That's it.
That's it.
Well, I mean,
all
that's
you
the
gotta do.
first heat cycle. You got to put the alternator on now, dump the oil, put the high zinc in, and then drive it for 1,000K.
Put some break-in miles on the street.
Yeah.
Putting varying load into it, obviously.
Yeah.
Again,
Try not to idle it. Just avoid idle as much as
Right.
possible.
You were telling me that you like a lot of like D-cell coasting because that really creates vacuum
yeah,
and that sucks the
pulls
rings out.
the rings out and like gives you good ring seating.
Right. And if you guys need a guide for how to break a motor in on the street, HB Academy has one on their engine building courses. So they have like a walkthrough if you really want step-by-step instructions for how to do that. But we've got Coach here taking care of us on this one. So this is exciting, guys. That could not have gone any better. So for a Subaru experience, I give that a 7 out of 5, or is it a 5 out of 7? Is it a 10 out of 10?
Yeah, it was all good.
It is all good.
Yeah.
As much as I'd love to just roll this thing out of here and go for a test drive, we've got a few things that we need to attend to. And the first one being, you can see we have 3 broken studs on here, and we don't want to drive on 2 studs. That would be bad. And on top of that, the rotor is just absolutely crusty. The brake pads here, incredibly worn and probably aged out at this point. With these Brembo calipers, they are aluminum. The bolts that hold them in are steel, and they do strip out if they're too tight. And I'm just not gonna risk it. So you can see how rusty everything is here. I do suspect this bolt will come out. It's just a bit cosmetic, but we're gonna bust out the old bolt buster here, heat induction tool. Make that sucker glow. Ooh, listen to that sizzle.
It is sizzling.
That's the sound.
Glowing.
All right, that is glowing red hot. Now I'm gonna come in with a little bit of the freeze off here. It's gonna create quite the smoke show, but this does shock it.
Just rapidly cools it, right?
Yeah. Throw out all the smoke. Let's see, we'll put this on here. And this should. Yeah, there it goes. See? And now it's loosened itself off, and we do have a bit of a smoky mess, but that means this caliper is going to come off there. Now let's see if I can knock out these studs here. It looks like we've got plenty of clearance from behind, so this won't be too difficult to task here. Oh, look at that. Got a brand new OEM Subaru stud here, and check out this tool. You could sometimes use washers to kind of like pull this through, but this nifty little tool, I think it's from Lyle, is it DP?
I think it is Lyle.
Lyle always has the
interesting stuff, yeah.
all the good stuff. I don't see the branding on it here, but anyways, you can see now here.
Might have been an Amazon special.
It might be. You can see as I start turning this, it is sucking the stud through, and this has a bearing in it. So it makes this super smooth. Like, look at this. Just so strong, DP. My grip strength is huge. It's just so huge, and I've run out of juice. But I think we're there. Let's see. There we are. And if you don't have the grip strength like I do, well, then you can come in with a pry bar like this. And it does make it go just a little bit easier, but you gotta be careful. You don't wanna strip your threads. Now we have 5 functional studs. 3 of them are good looking. The other 2, mediocre at best. Speaking of Amazon purchases, this is a brake caliper expander?
Piston pusher inner.
There we go. I like that one, DP.
Yeah,
I like that one a lot. So what we do is just basically line this up. It's not necessarily the most quality of tools. On that, I will tell you. No. This one, unfortunately,
the lowest
you can
grade.
See, yeah, this
is
the full bad grade here, because you can see, I gotta get this tightened up. There we go. Okay, now we're in. You flip this up, put this in here, and see, I found you kind of have to hold both of them to get this to work properly. Otherwise, it doesn't want to ratchet. It pushes back the pistons into the caliper without you having to sit here and use a pry bar on the caliper or anything like that. So, you know, another 10 bucks on Amazon. I hope this is 10 bucks, because anything more, you can see this is starting to annoy me as it's moving so much. Given how janky this thing is and how poorly it works, I'm not gonna leave a link in the description for it, but go online. For you guys, maybe post in the comments, for you guys that have one of these that works exceptionally well, let us know the brand, because I'm certainly gonna upgrade this. Now on to our OE Plus Pro Series rotors. You can see these come ready to go out of the box, no cleaning, anything like that. And the most important thing for us Rust Belt guys is you can see the center's painted black. So this thing isn't going to look like a rusty mess within 2 weeks, which is what always happens when you buy rotors that don't have coated caps here. Since we aren't using this car on the track, we are going with a set of OE Plus Pro Series pads as well to match the rotor. These we find have good initial bite, low dust, and they're quiet. So kind of what you want in a street pad. Last item here is to get this clip in. There we are. All those pins were cleaned up. So we now have refreshed brakes. The rear brakes refreshed as well. It is time to put on our wheels here, and man, these are gonna look amazing.
They are, but whoa. Can't give it all away in this one episode, PT. You gotta save some good stuff for the next episode.
You're right, DP, you're right. We do have a lot of really cool parts coming, but I guess we'll just put the old boys back on here just to go for the test drive. Wait. We cannot take this car for a drive yet. DP, do you know why?
No, what's going on?
Do you know why? Well, first of all, we need a license plate. The other thing though is I just cannot stand these wing supports. No disrespect to Perrin who makes them, but for me, this is not a WRC car. We are not at the WRC rallies, so we're just gonna punch these out, get them off of here, and bring this thing back to what I think is a much cleaner look.
We just held it with double-sided tape.
Oh, this one's tight. Imagine I broke the wing doing this though.
Yeah, careful up here. You don't want to scratch.
Yeah. I'm being somewhat careful.
Wow, the other one came out so easy.
I know. Just this one. Somebody really cleared this one.
There you go.
They were in there tight. They were in there tight.
It was pretty strong. It's good.
So,
yes.
oh no! Look, now we've lost all our structural rigidity of this wing. So it's done. It's over. Some of you may have seen this wheel in action before here, and some of you may not. But this thing is from 3M, and it is basically an adhesive removal wheel, and it is fantastic. As you saw, it just took off all of that. We will need to come in with a proper buff here, but as you can see, that eraser basically removed all of it. We just have a little bit of edging left. So we are now finally ready to take this thing for a rip here. Maiden voyage, DP.
Woo, listen to that exhaust, or should I say lack of exhaust.
I never thought I would hate muffler deletes as much as I hate them on this car.
I mean, it certainly gives you that boxer sound that the Subi guys love.
It does. If you want a quick cheap mod to make more noise, then that's the way to go. So I've forgotten how much I love the shifter on this car. It's so nice.
Yep.
Man, it's just so crisp.
Yep, they are a great gearbox.
Oh,
one of the all-time best 6-speeds, I would say.
Yes.
And they're pretty stout too. They can take some power, right?
So good. So let's just get into it. From a break-in procedure, you do want to drive this car around. What we're going to do is we're not going to log necessarily 1,000 kilometers on this car.
No.
Realistically, that's not going to happen for us.
It's kind of overkill anyway.
What we did last time with the Evo 5 engine is we basically drove it in a gear and went down to 2,000 RPM and then lightly applied throttle and built it up to about 4,000 RPM like that. And then you let off and let it coast back down. And you just let it coast. And this is what Dove was talking about. All that vacuum right now. Working its magic.
Helping the rings seal.
That's right. And then you get down to 2,000 RPM and you do it all over again. Ideally, you do it on a road like this. So there's no cars behind you thinking you're either drunk or crazy. And, call the authorities on you.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's kind of it. You do that for,
half an hour.
Exactly.
And your rings are probably pretty bad.
And what you don't want to do is just drive around and just be like this.
Yes,
cruising like
steady
this
state cruising does nothing good for
that is not what you want. So this thing does feel peppy.
It does feel peppy.
It's just even getting into it here a little bit.
It feels really good and smooth too.
Yes. And vary your gears, so and
vary your load and your gears.
And you don't want to go to red line, obviously. Right now, we are
3.5, 4,000 RPM.
I've been pushing it to 5 here and there, just because of it.
Progress through the break-in,
as you progress through it. So
you want to add some RPM.
You don't really want to go full throttle.
Right.
So you just continue.
Don't want to make your passenger motion sick.
Yeah. So there we go. But man, this thing is gonna be good. I can feel
it feels
the
spicy.
engine is nice. No noises, no nothing. However, we have a check engine light on here, DP.
Ooh, so there's so much going on there. I didn't even notice.
So that is, I think, a bit of an issue. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cruise up to NV Auto, kind of complete this break in here, go to them, and we also have another thing that we need to do there, which we couldn't do because Subaru's decided that you kind of need a special tool for, and we'll show you that in a moment. Get this bad boy in here for a second. our problem here is, and it involves air conditioning. We skipped this step when we were installing the engine, and that is because installing the AC belt on this car requires a special tool. That's right, a belt needs to be installed with a special tool. They did it right with the alternator belt and the power steering pump belt. There, you can see it, there's a tensioner, but this one, when you put it on here, there's no tensioner for the AC compressor. It is basically kind of like a stretch to fit. And look at that. It's like impossible to get on here. But the guys here at MV Auto do have a tool for this. So Vin's coming in here with special tool part number 1 here. What is this?
Well, they actually sell this together when you buy the belt. It's the installation kit, actually.
And what we just learned is the reason why these are now, look, see, there's another problem. The reason why there is no tensioner here is on previous generations, there were tensioners, right, Vin? But what, the pulleys were failing so much that they just...
Yeah, they always got noisy and you always had to replace the pulley. So I guess Subaru just decided to get rid of the pulley.
Just stretch the belt on instead.
Just stretch the belt on. Let's cut the cost. The pulley's bad, so let's get rid of the pulley and do this. So.
You know what the other fix could have been? Make a better pulley.
Well, that's what they should have done. That's what they should have done, but they didn't, and now we're forced to do this. Sorry, Vin. Yes, I did drop the belt down there. And you see what happens is that hole is never used, so now Vin's got to come in and chase the thread here and fix this before he can even use this tool. And here are the other 2 pieces of this wonderful combination.
Oh, there it goes. You either snap the belt or it jumps on place.
Wow. I just feel like could you even do this without the tool, Vin?
Yeah.
Because that looked, you guys think, that looked pretty tight and stiff on there. Holy smokes, like.
These are actually
crazy.
Single install tools. You're not actually supposed to.
One-time use.
You're not actually, every time you're supposed to take off the belt, you're actually supposed to cut it. You're supposed to put a brand new belt on.
Oh, so
my
the
God.
belt's not reusable.
Super. So,
This sounds like a racket to me, PT. This is some kind of pyramid scheme that Subaru's
Everything
running
is.
here. They're trying to sell you more parts. We shouldn't be unfair though. Really, that's not that bad, is it? And,
No, of course
And
not.
changing the belt every time you're doing this probably makes sense anyway. We're just having a bit of fun here, but going away from the pulley does seem like a strange solution to what was a bad pulley design, maybe, or just a low-quality pulley. This seems interesting.
But let's show everybody how nicely the alternator belt goes on and the power
Yeah.
steering belt.
Yeah.
goes.
this is the best.
This, my friends, this is how it's done. See?
That's proper
That's
right
how it's
there.
supposed to be, right
Yes,
there,
yes.
right there. Okay, now we've got Master Nam here, and he's gonna plug in the code reader here.
Yeah, it's just a little basic code reader. We'll plug it in, turn the key on, and see what kind of code it's got. There's only a couple thousand codes that are possible on the car. Starter relay circuit low.
Oh, wonderful.
Second code is the same, third code is the same, so it's happened a couple times.
Oh, great.
This is a weird code, I'm not too sure what it is.
Of course it is, Nam. Of course it is. So,
I mean, it could be something with a starter relay, because the car seems to start and fire up and run no problem. It could be maybe a faulty relay, or maybe an aftermarket remote starter, aftermarket remote entry system that's interrupting it. But we do need to dig deeper to see what's going on, because I think you guys tried disconnecting the battery already, reconnecting it,
yes.
and the code was still there. So it is something that is constantly there, and it does need to be resolved.
Well, guys, it looks like we have a running Subaru, but one with a check engine light, and you're gonna have to stay tuned for the next episode as we start diagnosing this thing and trying to figure out what that is, because it is an odd one. Who knows what it'll be? If you guys know, post in the comments, and be sure to stay tuned for the next video series where we're gonna begin modifying this thing and building it into what I think is going to be a pretty amazing street Subaru.